If you guys have been watching my channel, you would know that my original camera actually broke. So the whole entire time I've been filming on my phone with bad camera quality and bad audio. But now I got a new camera, a new microphone, so hopefully this video will come out well, because this is actually my first time filming on this camera. Today I have some books that I've read recently that I'm very excited to talk about. We have 5 books and I also have 2 manuals to talk about. The first book, My Life with the Water Boys, I watched season 1 and I actually tried watching season 1 when it first came out, but I saw the scene of Cole coming out of the pool and I was like, I cannot watch this, it's too cringy for me, so I exited out of Netflix so quickly. But then season 2 came out and I was a little bit bored. I started watching season 2 and I didn't understand what was happening, so I was like, I gotta watch season 1. Watch season 1 and I was like, wait, why do I kinda like this? I wanted to read the original material, which is obviously the book, and I actually read the book when it first came out on Wattpad, but for some weird reason I have this vague memory of there being a scene on a cruise ship. I don't know why, because I never went on a cruise ship. The setting isn't even close to a cruise ship. They're on a farm the whole entire time. When I started reading the book, I was honestly quite surprised because the show and the book is so different. The show definitely does a better job of creating depth for the other side characters, especially because the book is just really focused on Jackie. However, the show does such a terrible job on the romance. It frustrates me so much that they're trying to push Alex and Jackie. I don't know if it's because of the whole love triangle between brothers thing that is becoming popular nowadays, or if they're trying to match the popularity of The Summer I Turned Pretty. The anger it gives me that they are trying to push Alex compared to Cole is so... In the book, Alex and Jackie literally only date for 3 days, and Jackie considers him a friend, so I don't really know why they even dated because they barely even talked. There were also multiple scenes in the show that in the book was originally with Cole, and then in the show they just gave it to Alex instead. So I don't know what they're trying to do. Are Cole and Jackie even gonna end up together on the show? I have no idea because they messed up season 2 as well. But I love Cole so much. I love how even though he is considered a playboy, we don't really see him with a lot of girls, because it's an ick to me when they're described as a playboy and you can clearly see that they're a playboy, because once he starts liking Jackie, he really falls for her hard and he's always there to listen to her, to comfort her, which is why I think he's a better match than Alex, because I swear in the book her and Alex didn't even really interact with each other. I then read the second book, My Return to the Water Boys, and I really wish season 2 followed this book, but I understand why it didn't since this book came out this year. My Return to the Water Boys, that book, Chef's Kiss, this is the type of romance book that I like reading. A romance book with a little bit of drama, with a little bit of angst, because the chemistry between Jackie and Cole was so strong. There was this whole push and pull, which mainly was because Jackie wasn't really ready to be in a relationship, whereas Cole really liked her. In a way, he did kind of try to push her, but when I say that the chemistry between them is so good, I mean it, because I was rooting for them to get together, and they did, which is great. However, I will say that my issue with the book is probably the ending. It felt very abrupt. We had this whole 3rd act breakup, obviously, and then something happens, they get together in the end, but it ends so abruptly. I'm just like, that's it. I do hope that, I don't know, maybe a 3rd book will come out, because I would love to get more of their relationship, especially because in the book, I'm not gonna lie, they only dated for 3 weeks. So yeah, but that's not that surprising, because in romance books, I swear the timeline is always very short. But I found this book really entertaining. It's honestly my favorite style of romance book. I loved this Savage Son. In this world, we have 2 cities divided under 2 rulers, I guess you would call it. We have the Flints, who are seen as heroes as they actually go and fight these monsters, and we have Haku, who is more corrupt as he works with the monsters and kind of manipulates the people who live underneath him. We have 3 different hierarchies of monsters. We have Malachi, I think that's how you pronounce it, 𝐸♭, and Tsunai, and our 2 main characters, Kate and August, are the children of these 2 rulers. So we have August, who is the son of the Flints, and Kate, who is the son of Haka. They meet at this school and form somewhat of this instant connection, not really romantic but more of a familiarity because their lives basically parallel each other. This book, in my opinion, is the perfect balance of writing, world building, characters, and pacing. I'm the type of person that gets really frustrated when the pacing of the book is very slow at the beginning. Nothing is going on, and then all of a sudden, the last 20%, everything is happening. In the beginning, it does a good job of world building, and we get to see the normalcy of their lives before everything kind of just goes downhill. But it was so entertaining and engaging to read. I don't even know how, but I read this book super quickly, even though I wanted to get through it really slowly and take my time while reading it. Unfortunately, I didn't really like the second book, and I disliked the second book for all the reasons why I liked the first book. I didn't like this specific point of view that was included because it felt utterly useless, but I also didn't like how the point of views jumped around. For example, in one chapter we would have 3 different point of views, where we would have a scene told from the point of view of one character and then it would jump to another one. It made the whole plot, I would say, a little bit disjointed. I think it would have been better if it was just one character's point of view in one chapter instead of it being broken up into different paragraphs in one chapter. It was just really messy and kind of confusing. The story was more character focused, which I liked because we get to see the changes in the characters after what happened in book 1, because in book 1 they did go through a lot of trauma. However, the plot was kind of lacking and felt really slow and lackluster compared to the first book because nothing really happened until the last 20% of the book, but even that last 20% of the book wasn't really exciting. And then there was this whole ending, which usually I would be very upset about, but honestly I didn't really care because I didn't really care for the build-up of this story. I didn't feel the suspense that I felt in the first book, and it just felt so bland and empty to me that I just left the book feeling really disappointed. So I'm really sad that unfortunately I didn't like the second book as much as I liked the first, because I was super excited to get into our dark duets. I don't know why, but 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐲 books include all the romance tropes that I very, very much dislike. But for some weird reason, I just really, really like her book. Every book that she writes, even though I may dislike some of them, in the end, I will always pick up whatever book she releases. I don't know if it's because of the way that they are written, but they are just so entertaining. And it could be because there's romance that is mixed within the STEM world, which just feels more interesting compared to the other romance books that I've read. I will be honest though, I don't understand any of the STEM things that they were talking about. There were certain things that they were talking about in the beginning of the book where I was like, I don't really understand what this is about, but I'm really just here for the romance. I really like the pining and the tension between the two characters, but yeah, I would say that it is very romance focused, and I see why it would get a little bit frustrating to see this whole push and pull between them, where it's kind of like, just get together you guys, why are we doing this whole thing? But I don't know why. I just like her books, which is really interesting because usually the formula that she writes in, if it was another author, I would probably dislike it. So I'm glad for the day that I read The Love Hypothesis, probably for a video, and when I continue to read all her books. Yes, now that I think about it, out of all the romance authors that I've read from so far, she's probably the one that I've liked the best. And it's not even because her books are super good. I just think sometimes they have some interesting drama going on. For example, Deep End was a book that I read where I wasn't really sure if I would like it initially, but then I was like, oh my god, there is just some fun stuff happening in here that is keeping me entertained and I want to read that. Moving on to the manhwas that I read Please Don't Visit the Villainous Stationery Store, and this was the first manhwa that I DNF'd. I DNF'd around chapter 86, I think, because I got so sick of it. The overall plot of Please Don't Come to the Villainous Stationery Store is that it's a transmigration novel where, as always, the female lead dies in the real world. She transmigrates into this world as a villain, but her whole dream is to own this stationery store, which is basically a store that is filled with things to entertain kids because that's what provided her with happiness in her world. So she creates a stationery store, and I really, really like the art. Oh, the male lead so pretty and the children are so cute, and I like the female lead, but I was just annoyed because I really dislike it when the female lead is so loved and adored, even though I feel like she doesn't really do that much. And what was really frustrating to me is that there's this whole antagonist plot. For some weird reason, she was always 2 steps ahead of them, despite her not knowing the actual plot of the story, because she completely changed it when she became this stationery store owner. So it frustrated me how literally everything just ran smoothly for her. Every single plan that the antagonist made, she managed to outsmart them without any issue. And although I really like the male lead, I just felt like they didn't have a lot of chemistry, and I didn't really care about their romance, if I'm being honest. They were cute because they were really supportive of each other, but I don't know, I just didn't really feel anything for the connections. The reason why I finished it was because, first of all, I read a lot. I tried to finish it to the best of my abilities, but then I got my books and I decided to finish it on my books, and I was like, you know what, reading manuals on my books is kind of fun, so I'm just gonna finish reading it. And I guess I'm glad that I did, but it's definitely not one of my favorite manhwas. The last book that I'm going to be talking about is a manhwa, and that is Onwards. The main story is completed, but these side stories are still coming out, but I just decided, you know what, I'm going to read it. I thought that this manhwa was really cute. The art is absolutely scrumptious. I'm a big fan of the way that the eyelashes were drawn because they were so pretty, and I feel like it adds so much to the character. I don't know why. Do eyelashes even matter? Not really, but I like the way that the eyelashes were drawn. It makes the characters look so much prettier. Anyways, we have 2 couples. We have the first couple and obviously the second. The first 2 seasons are focused on the first couple, and there is a little bit of an age gap because the male lead is 20 whereas the MC is 26. I thought that the relationship between the main couple was really cute, and I liked seeing their interactions more, but then we got the second couple. I didn't really like them as much because their dynamic made me a little bit uncomfortable. It's a little bit weird because the story focuses around this idol and then his boss, but his boss is like 30 something, whereas the idol is around 22 or 24, and the proportions and the way that they're drawn is absolutely ridiculous because the idol literally looks like a child, and it just feels so weird. But I will say, art again, really pretty. Love the eyelashes, but I think the second couple kind of annoyed me a little bit more because I just wasn't really into their dynamic compared to the main couple. But the side stories are still coming out. I'm waiting for it to be completed because I'm excited to read the side stories. Anyways, that's basically all the books that I'm going to be talking about in this video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I'll see you guys in another. Bye!